bring you forward and test the sound. Oh, all three are working. Hello. God, I'm in triplicate, quadruplicate. Well, that works. Sound works. You're working. You're working. It's YouTube that's being loud. Like YouTube, not YouTube, LinkedIn. Check that out. It actually works. And it didn't go, oh, it did go live straight away. Why does YouTube have to do that? I don't understand. Anyway, is what it is. Right, let's click go live on there. Go live on there. YouTube peoples were listening to me mutter. Ah. Okay, right, live on Facebook. Live on LinkedIn, sound is working. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. It works. Good, good, good. After the failure that we had the last time I tried to do this. Right. That's all on there. Well, good evening. It is bang on 8 o'clock, so I will not keep you hanging around. If you are on here live, I massively, massively welcome you. Feel free to whack any comments or any questions or any thoughts, tips, whatever comes into your head as we're going along, whack it in the comments. If you are watching this on the recording, again, just whack it in the comments. It will get looked at, I'm sure. Can't promise when because it doesn't always notify me that I have comments, which is great fun. But yes, welcome to What Matters Wednesday. My name is Jay, and I am a productivity coach. My business is Rethink Your Perspective. My little symbol's up there. And the reason I am doing these is because I want to spread the message that time cannot be managed. Now, hear me out. Because obviously, time management is a billion-dollar industry. It is massive. Okay. What is time? Think about it. What is time? If we think about it, it's minutes, seconds, hours, days, years, decades, centuries, millennia, all that good stuff. But all of those words are just measurement in the same way that a liter is, or a kilometer, or a meter, or a degree. It's all measurements of something. So then you go back to, well, what is time then? If it's not minutes and seconds and measurements, what is time? It is the progression of life, of whatever this existence is that we have. It's actually quite hard to define time when you take it out of the window of it being a measurement or it being linked to minutes and seconds and hours. Yeah. Time itself, when we think about it, and the whole minutes and seconds, was something we humans put together so that we could organize our lives and be in the same place at the same time. Because the sun at the highest point in the sky is quite an unreliable meeting time, isn't it? Can you imagine if we hadn't invented time, so like 9 till 5, you can start work when it's dawn, when the sun, first teeny tiny little bit of the sun comes across the horizon. But if you live in the mountains, that's going to be quite considerably later than someone who lives in the plains. So we invented this thing called time, this measurement system, all the way back in ancient Sumeria was when it was started, with obviously water clocks and the traveling of the sun across the sky. Then obviously we had in the 1600s the first pendulum clock, invented by Christian Huygens, based on the isosynchronicity, I can't ever say the word, isosynchronicity, haha, of pendulums, swingy pendulums, and all of that good stuff. Nowadays, we use the atomic clock, which is accurate within a second every million or so years. Super accurate, but it's still only a measurement. And you can't manage a measurement. In the same way that you can't change the length of a meter or the length of a kilometer, you can't change the length of a second or a minute or a day. So my key main message that I like to share with most people When I speak to them, when I do these webinars, when I do talks, when I do live events, all of that stuff, even when I'm just having conversations with people, is quite simply that time cannot be managed. You all have exactly the same number of minutes, hours, and seconds in the day as the billionaire or the homeless person or whatever. We all have the same amount of time. We have all the time there is. So why do we get so stressed about it? Well, that's what these sessions are all about. Because we get stressed about it because we try and control something we cannot control. It is a measurement. Simple. You can't control a measurement. It is what it is. And yes, it sometimes feels like it passes faster. Sometimes it feels like it drags. But it is still the same amount of time. But what you can control is what you do with the time that you have. So you can use the snazzy planners, the snazzy apps, all of those good time management techniques and things that the time management industry will try and sell you. But if you don't work on you first, no amount of technique, app, planner is going to help. And there's three things that you can work on consistently, and that's your energy, making sure you have enough energy every single day to do the things you need to do. Because if you probably know from yourself, if you're tired or exhausted or burnt out, it is really hard to get anything done because your brain's like, no, can't think, can't focus because you've got no energy. The second thing is focus. So getting rid of all the distractions, most distracting thing on the planet, because it's constantly going off, constant notifications. Everybody wants your attention every like now, or they want something done yesterday. It makes focus really difficult. And then the third thing is consistency. Doing 5 minutes every single day is better than one long 2 hour stint twice a week or once a week. Little bits consistently build a much better foundation than trying to do everything all in one go. Okay, so I don't share specific tips on how to manage your time because the different techniques and apps and planners, everybody's different. What works for one person is not going to work for someone else. So you have to experiment. I give ideas, I give like things I've heard of or things that I've tried or things that people have told me about. I will give suggestions, yes. But what I focus on is getting you to shift your focus to your energy, your focus, and your consistency. Because they're the three things that you have the biggest control over. Because time can't be managed. It's just a measurement. So all we can do is manage the things that we do with it. Okay, so this week we are following on from the last time. And if I just check my notes, it was the 15th because I was supposed to do it on the 21st and technology just went, not doing it, wouldn't connect, wouldn't do anything, just out of my control. So I let it go. And then the 28th last week, I was at an event on the Wednesday night, so we didn't do one then. So the last time we spoke was the 15th, and we were looking at what actually matters in your day, in your week. Okay, so what matters Wednesday is all about turning your week around. Because a lot of the time, and I used to work in corporate stuff in schools and 9 to 5 jobs and all of that good stuff. And you start the week busy. You've got the weekend to make up for, and usually last Thursday, Friday's work as well that you didn't do. And I'll get to that in a minute. So Monday is catch-up day. Tuesday, you might get some work done if you caught up on everything you missed on Monday. Wednesday then becomes hump day, where by the end of Wednesday, you're closer to the weekend than you were to Monday. And then Thursday and Friday become drift days where you are literally just trying to get through the week. So things get shelved. Oh, I'll do that next week. I'll do that Monday. And then hence why you end up with a really busy Monday. And the point I'm trying to make with these sessions is that what matters Wednesday is what matters all week. If you can be productive, sustainably productive on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, equally, the week feels a whole lot less stressful. And that's what the tips are and things that I'm doing with these sessions. So last time we spoke about what actually matters. So the subtle art of prioritizing. And we looked at the Eisenhower matrix, which I'll cover again in a minute because it has been a little while since we spoke about it. And this week, my key topic is the hidden cost of trying to do everything. And any entrepreneurs watching this will know what that means because you are the CEO, the COO, the finance person, the content creator, the salesperson, the customer services. You're everything. You wear all of the hats. You're trying to do everything. And the hidden cost is usually in your energy. We get burnt out. We get stressed out. We get overwhelmed. And when your brain is in that overwhelmed, burnt out, stressed, nothing gets done really well at all. And you end up burnt out and overwhelmed, as I said. And this is the session that I want to really focus in on avoiding that overwhelm by doing a couple of simple little things, which include breaking down big jobs and learning the only word that's actually in the alphabet. There's only one word. If you go through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the rest of it, there's only one word. And it sits between M and P. L, M, N, O, P. It's the only word in the alphabet. And it is the least used word, especially in business, because you go, oh, yes, I can do that. Oh, yes, I can take that on. Oh, I can do it. Yes, that's fine. Learn to say no, and you will learn how to stop yourself being so overwhelmed. Okay, so this session, we're looking at how to avoid overwhelm, how to learn to say no, which also avoids burnout, which keeps your energy a little bit higher. And it is as simple as looking at each individual thing that you have to do and not treating them equally. Because you will have one task over here that will literally move the needle in your business, in your career, whatever you're doing. And then one task over here that will literally do nothing but drag you down and leave you even less time to do the thing that matters. But yet we treat both of them as equal when it should be this has priority. And that's why we looked at the Eisenhower matrix last week. Okay, so I'll start off with the Eisenhower and then just as a recap. So you start off with a nice blank page and you split it in four. Okay, and then up the side, one side, you have importance, like that. So importance. And then up the other side, you have, or down across the side even, you have urgency. So you end up with a grid that looks like this. All right. So urgency and importance. Every single thing that is on your to-do list, or as I prefer, a get-done list, because a get-done list sounds like you get to do it, whereas a to-do list sounds like you have to do it. But I'm covering get-dones in another session. Okay, but everything that is on your list to get done can fit into one of these four boxes. Okay, so if something is really important and really urgent, it goes at the top of your priority list. You do it now. Okay, if something is really important but not really urgent, you can schedule it. Okay, so if it's really urgent, really important, just do it. It goes at the top of the list. If it's not that urgent, schedule it. If it is urgent but not really important, there's this magical word called delegate. Now, if you are the only person in your business and you are delegating to yourself, then basically you're just going to schedule it lower down the schedule list. Because, yeah, it's urgent, but it's not overly important. It's not really going to make a difference. And if you've got something that is not going to make any difference, it's not important at all, and it is not urgent, there's three little letters called bin. Delete it. Don't bother. If it's not going to make any difference, just don't do it. Okay? So this is the Eisenhower matrix. Urgency versus importance. If it's urgent and it's important, you do it first. So you are prioritizing that and getting it done first. If it's important but not urgent, schedule it, put it down the list. It's not been forgotten, but it's just not being done right now. If it is urgent but not important, try and delegate it, even if you delegate it lower down the schedule. And if it's not important and not urgent, get rid of it. Don't even waste your time on it. Okay? When you use the Eisenhower method to look at your to-do list, you'll be surprised what you can actually delete off of it. Okay? And that helps you to reduce your mental clutter. Because if you've got 100 different things flying around your head is cluttered, and it then means that you are just getting constant distractions because little things will pop up every now and then. If you think of it like a glass, so this is over half full. If this is the amount of mental clutter in your head, and you're just constantly adding it and adding it and adding it, eventually that glass is going to overflow, or it can't take any more. It physically can't hold any more liquid, can't hold any more stress. It can't hold any more clutter. So you prioritize the things you are supposed to be doing. You write your lists, however the list comes to you, whether it be on just a scrap of paper or on an actual snazzy app or whatever it is that helps you, so that you can get rid of some of that mental clutter. Okay? One of the biggest sources of mental clutter are unfinished tasks. Now, if any of you out there have got like the ADHD brain, oh, squirrel kind of brain, you will have 50 tabs open at any one time. You can start 12 new projects every single week. None of them get finished. So you've got lots of what the creative world call WIPs, works in progress. You have a great idea, you start it, you get so far, then you have another idea and you start that, and this first one gets just discarded. Spend some time, or actually delegate some time to yourself in your schedule. Put a time block in where you look at your list of unfinished projects. And if they're not going to make any difference, or they're going to be too much to finish, get rid of them. Close the tab, close it down, whatever. Because when you've got all these unfinished tasks and all this mental clutter going on in your head, and you're making constant decisions, you end up with something called decision fatigue, which means you lose the ability to actually make a decision, and you become one of those indecisive peoples who used to be indecisive, but now they're just not sure because there's so much going on in their brain. They just haven't got the energy to make a decision. And then they make a decision like this, and it's usually the wrong one because they haven't looked at all the information, because they are just too overwhelmed and too burnt out to actually bother. Okay. I speak a lot about habits within the work that I do, and habits, having automatic habits, can really lower your decision fatigue. So I'll give you a perfect example. If you're on a diet and you know that you are going to walk past a coffee shop on the way to work, and that is the one thing that you are going to try and kick, that you want to stop doing every morning, buying that nice milky latte with that nice cookie. If that's what you want to stop doing because you're trying to lose weight, you make the decision in the morning that when you walk past that coffee shop, you are going to keep walking. You can also make the decision ahead of time that you are not going to eat the cake in the staff room that somebody's brought in for their lunch, or brought in for their birthday or a celebration or whatever. You are not going to eat it. And then when you get to that point in the day, when you walk past the coffee shop, your brain can instantly go, I've already made that decision, keep going. And you probably might not even realize after a few days that you've even walked past the coffee shop. You'll get a few steps down the road and be like, oh, it was there. Or you'll go into the staff room at break time or lunchtime or whenever it is, and there's cake there, and you're like, no, I've already made the decision. I don't need to make the decision again. Decision's made. Done. Gets rid of an in-the-moment decision because it's been made. Reduces decision fatigue. And like I said, the other way to reduce decision fatigue is by getting rid of some of the mental clutter and getting rid of the unfinished tasks. Rather than starting another project, finish the one you've already done. It's like trying to read 3 or 4 different books at the same time. It's hard to know what that character's doing and remember what they've been doing if you've been reading something else at the same time. So trying to jump between tasks is just going to wear you out quicker because it counts like a distraction. It's pulling your attention off somewhere and then trying to bring it back, pulling it off to another task and trying to bring it back, pulling it off over there and trying to bring it back. It's never going to work, and you're just going to exhaust yourself, become overwhelmed and burn out really quickly. And all of these things, when you're flitting between things and things aren't being finished, you end up with the guilt you haven't done anything. You get to the end of the week, and because you've still got 15 tasks that aren't finished, you might have done a little bit on each single one, but because nothing is finished, you feel like you've done nothing. And that can be really overwhelming and make you feel really crap because you feel like you've achieved nothing. So this week, I want you to seriously have a think about what open tabs have you got? What unfinished things have you got going on? And what mental clutter is going around your head or around your get done list, your to-do list, that can just go bye-bye? Or is there something on one of those tasks that will finish it really quickly? Or can it be delegated, given to somewhere else? A great activity for this is a brain dump. So a brain dump and sort. And it follows the same sort of thing as the Eisenhower matrix, where you basically brain dump everything in here onto bits of paper or text or a voice note if you prefer listening and speaking. You write everything down and then really black and white, get all the emotions out of the way, go through every single thing on that list and either keep it, delay it, delegate it, or delete it. So everything that's in here, everything that's on your to-do list, your get done list, everything going on around you, get it out on a piece of paper, a whiteboard, a spreadsheet, whatever it is that works for you, and then put it into 4 different columns. You're either keeping it because it's actually beneficial, it needs to be done, it's important, it doesn't overly matter if it's urgent. Obviously, urgent goes to the top of the list. All those things you then keep are your high priority things, and they're the things that need to be done first. So you're either keeping it, you're delaying it because it might be important, it might move the needle, it might be the next big thing, but it's not urgent to get it done right now. So you delay it, schedule it. Things on the list that somebody else could do, even if you hire a VA or somebody off Fiverr or Upwork or something for a week to get these things done, delegate them, get them off of your plate. Because if those things are like £10 an hour jobs and you're the CEO of your business, these are not worth your time. You're spending your time in the wrong place by doing the stuff that somebody else could do. Could your business have an apprentice that does these little jobs? Could you hire an admin or a VA that does these sort of things? Could AI do it? Have a think about it, but delegate it away. And if you've got things on that list that really are not going to make any difference, but are going to take up a lot of time and causing you stress and aren't going to make any difference, delete them. Get them off that list to get them out of the way. Be ruthless with that list. Okay, so brain dump everything that you've got going on, everything on your to-do list. It might take you 3 or 4 days to actually get that list properly. Just keep coming back to it. Have it on a pad of paper or something next to your desk. And every time something comes into you, oh yeah, I need to do that, write it down. And spend a couple of days doing that, writing it down. And then time block yourself an hour, maybe 2, depending on how long the list is, to actually just go through each and every single one of them. And then keep, delay, delegate, or delete. And you'll be surprised how much you can get rid of your to-do list. It isn't going to serve you. Because like I said, if you're doing £10 an hour work, you're not focusing on the business. You're working in the business. If you're doing all the little petty things, and it could be that you're doing all the petty things because the big thing is too big and it's too overwhelming because you've still got too much going on in your head. Doing this brain dump exercise will make you see that. And once you see it and you've got that keep pile, if anything in that keep pile still makes you feel overwhelmed, break it down. Maybe you've got a really long report to write that you know is going to take a blooming long time. I used to write some quite big reports when I was an environmental assistant on landfills. We had to do the annual reports. So it's the annual documenting of all the data from the year. And I hated it because it used to take like 3 weeks. But the more I did it, and the more I looked into different tools that we had, the more I actually worked out I could train the computer system to spit out the data in a certain way. So I attended a couple of training courses and learned different ways of getting the data spat out. It halved the workload. Rather than constantly just slogging at it and doing the same thing and going, oh, I don't want to do this and putting it off to the last minute, I decided, no, is there a better way that this can be done? Maybe I spend a couple of days at the start of the cycle working out how to do this better. And I found some tools online and in the app, and well, it's not the app, but the computer program we were using, that I could get it to spit out the data in a different way, which meant that I didn't have this massive spreadsheet of all this data that I then had to put into the right columns, and oh, it was a nightmare. But I trained it to do it for me. I delegated it to the computer, halved my workload, which well, it meant I could go out on site more often, which was great fun. But yeah, when you've got a big thing, try and break it down. So if you've got a big report to write, do it in chunks. Write the outline, so the contents page. Know what you've got to do for each section, and then focus on one section at a time. So it might be that today you write the introduction, or tomorrow you look at collating the data, and then the next day you've got an hour block where you analyze the data, or whatever it is. But work to within your deadlines, but break it up one little bit at a time. And the biggest tip I will give you on that is to remember that you are basically a big child. You can be bribed. So if you've got a job you really don't want to do, work out what it is that bribes you. I used to line up gummy bears along the edge of my keyboard or along the edge of the table where I was working. So I had the screen up there and there was a table ledge. I used to line up gummy bears. And every single time I hit a certain milestone, so it was one of those complicated reports where it was like section 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.1, all that sort of stuff. I would say to myself, and I had my boss as my accountability partner, I could only have a gummy bear when I completed each section, basically. So it could be, I've completed section 1.1, I can have a gummy bear. I've completed section 1.2, I can have a gummy bear. I've completed the whole of section 1, I'm going for a walk. Because I know going for a walk is going to boost my energy, to give me the energy to come back to do some more work. So it's all about finding what works for you without overwhelming yourself. And that's what this is all about, because you can't manage time. You can only manage what you do with it. And if you're trying to do stuff within it when you're exhausted, completely distracted, and trying to do lumps of things in really random places rather than little bits here and there, you are not working at your most efficient and productive self. Simple as that. Okay? It's coming up to past now, so I will stop adding extra information. I highly recommend you do the brain dump exercise. Keep, delay, delegate, delete. And if you do have any questions, I'm more than capable of waffling, that's the word I want, for another couple of minutes to give anyone on here live who wants to ask a question chance to ask. If you are watching the recording, please feel free to either drop me a message on whatever platform you're watching this on or comment below the video. The events all stay on the platforms, so LinkedIn, and it is working this evening because I can see myself talking over there. It's quite scary. It will stay on the platform on my events. So all of these videos are available. If you feel they're going to help someone else, feel free to share. But I can see there are a few people on live with me across all three because I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It worked this evening. Doesn't always. Can't control it. Just go with it. Yes, this is me in my waffly phase, just seeing if anybody has any questions before I disappear off to put my small human to sleepy bears shortly. But yeah, I hope that has been helpful. As I said, if you do have any questions and you're watching this after or you don't want to ask it live, just drop me a message. Always happy to help. Always also happy to do lunch and learns within companies, online, in person, depending on location, obviously. I'm doing one tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. Helping some small charity leaders to understand that time can't be managed. It's a recurring theme here, isn't it? I am trying to change those myths because it's a generational paradigm that we have been passed down from generation to generation to generation that we have to manage our time and you can't manage a measurement. So this is What Matters Wednesday, trying to help you to feel more in control of the second half of your week rather than just coasting to the weekend and giving yourself a massive list of things to do on Monday morning. We've all been there. I used to do it. Don't panic. Everyone knows it's done. But I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Have a great rest of your evening, day, morning, whatever time you're watching it. So, ta